Ready? 1, 2, 3, go!
We're the HildeFam family, and in the fall of 2020, at the height of the pandemic, we purchased a retired school bus that we converted into our dream tiny home on wheels to travel across the United States. Then in 2021, we parked up the bus and hopped on a plane to Europe to find our new destination unknown.
All right, so where are we now, Dad?
We are at Tyresö slot.
Tyresö slot in Tyresö, Sweden. We have been in Sweden for 6 months now. We left the bus back in October 2021, and it's now, what is it, April 2022. So it's been a little bit of time, literally a different land later, and we wanted to update you guys about where we've been.
What happened? Why did we move to Sweden? How did that all come about? Well, the short answer is Ingrid talked about it forever, and we always had some sort of excuse as to why we couldn't do it, or at least I always came up with something. And after being on the road for 6 months in the school bus, I really didn't have an excuse anymore. So when Ingrid, said on that last and final time, I want to move to Sweden, I said, and I said, all right, well, there's no but. Okay, so find a house and let's do it. So what do? We put an offer in on a house. That offer got accepted. This was when we were in
Maine,
in
Bar
Maine,
Harbor.
In Bar Harbor. So we were trying to negotiate the contract while we were in Bar Harbor, Maine, right as the season was ending up there. Mm-hmm. And so the contract was accepted. We just basically drove up to Boston, pretty much beelined it. We went through New Hampshire.
Vermont. Back through New Hampshire, which is where what happened?
I broke my leg surfing, indoor surfing at the wind tunnel.
Eric may have broken his leg, so that's exciting. How are you feeling, Daddy?
Great. I feel like a million turds. Not $1 million. It's fine when I'm not moving it. Obviously, it's just the movement that really hurts. So we don't know if it's. We definitely know there's a hairline fracture. I think they may have missed something in the ankle because that's quite swollen, and probably like a torn muscle or something, which is what they suggested. So we moved on October 11th, 2021. We caught a flight from Boston, Logan, to Stockholm, so Arlanda. And Ingrid was already a Swedish citizen, so that made things really easy. So the kids were entitled to their Swedish citizenship. So we got here, and just started working on getting the kids their citizenship, getting banking set up. We had absolutely no plan. Obviously, we had the house under contract. We needed a bank in order to settle the loans and do all that kind of stuff. And
because at least this real estate agency only allows national banks, so banks from within the country, to transfer the sale and purchase of a property. So we had to get banking set up.
So the buyer's bank settles for the seller's mortgage. So
which is a little bit different. So in the United States, when you go to purchase a house, you buyer and seller, of course, have the contract. Buyer sends funds to an escrow agency, at least in the state of Florida, which is where I was licensed or am licensed. And so And then from there, the title agency conducts the transfer and the closing, and sending out all funds to pay off the seller's loan.
Whereas here, the buyer's bank handles all that. While you don't need to be a citizen to A, have a bank account, or B, buy a house in Sweden, it's not logistically, it's just not that easy. So we didn't have a bank account. We had difficulty getting one. You know, they wanted evidence of Swedish income, which we didn't have. So a lot of challenges that ran to it.
It took about 2.5 months for us to get banking set up. I think part of that was due to it was falling around the Christmas, New Year holiday season. Also COVID restrictions. Getting an appointment one-on-one at a bank was more difficult. We're past that now, but yes,
the house itself. So we had, sitting in our school bus in Bar Harbor, Maine, we saw a house online that we really liked.
En lite smultronställe. Little
Swedish
strawberry sweet place.
Yeah, so it was really cute on paper, but when we got there, we flew all the way over to Sweden for that purpose. And when we actually got under contract sight unseen apart from the website, but when we got there,
and it had a home inspection as well.
It did have the home inspection, but there were a number of things that weren't disclosed in the home inspection, and it just really wasn't in the condition that it sort of purported online. So we walked away from it. Long story short, but the reality is us doing that got us here, and I don't think we. If we had to think through and plan and organize all that stuff on the front end in the States, we wouldn't have came. So really, it was a lot easier to just say, okay, we're moving.
Yeah.
Show up, and it turns out it wasn't for us.
And it was very easy for us to move as well, in the sense of we were able to just pick up and go. We moved here with an umbrella stroller, of course the kids, and a book bag. That's it.
And to be fair, the reason why it was so easy is because you have your citizenship. If you didn't have your citizenship, it wouldn't have been as easy to just walk into the country and never leave.
Correct.
But it still took the gusto to say, okay, well, 6 months of working on the school bus, 7 months of building it out, whatever it was, 6 months of being on the road. And, it almost feels, and to a lot of our family, it did feel like it was just short notice, like just random. We're moving to Sweden. And maybe it was a little bit, but for as long as you've spoken about it.
Yeah. So when I was 21, when I was 21, so that was 2008, I did a study abroad in Uppsala, and I've been coming to Sweden since I was a kid. Again, I have my dual citizenship, which definitely helps, and everybody on my mother's side of the family, besides my mother, lives in Sweden. So it was really, it's kind of always been like a second home, or just a place that I go to. And so yeah, I've always dreamed about coming back. I think Sweden is a wonderful country for families, and we're finally getting to experience that, but it's just, it's a different way. I think that also too, when we were in Maine, long term, our goal with the bus always has been, we want to turn it into an Airbnb. And so when we were in Maine, we thought, oh gosh, this is beautiful up here. Let's look at properties. And that's when it kind of just dawned on, at least me, that if I have to buy in a state that looks so similar to Sweden, well then why don't we just go to Sweden? In the rural areas, it's very affordable. So, or not even super rural, just outside of the major cities. So,
and sort of a fun, aside, one of the places that we were staying at in Maine, had the landowner was an American kid who was married to a Swedish woman.
Yes.
And he had lived in Stockholm, in Stockholm, I think.
I think so, because he attended Stockholm University.
Yeah, so he lived in Sweden for 5 years or so, and super nice family.
Yes.
They took us on, a picnic, a boat ride picnic.
Yes.
We went to a private island out in Maine. It was really just fantastic.
Go to Maine if you've never been there. The people there are wonderful.
Yeah, really, really great people for pretty much our entire experience.
Yeah.
But
friendly.
So yeah, so we're talking to this family. We're staying on their property. It's a boatyard, and they were nice enough to put us up for free. Park the bus sort of on their land. And they have these beautiful tree houses. It's really this entrepreneurial family. It's fantastic. And yeah, this kid's, he's a Swedish family.
I always say kid, like
yeah,
we're all adults.
Man. Yeah, he's probably my
I feel
age.
like kids at heart.
He's my age, right? And he, yeah, he lived in Sweden for 5 years, and we were sitting there talking to him about, yeah, we're thinking about, we want to buy some land and maybe in Maine and park the bus, and here we are talking about Sweden at the same time, and we just basically abandoned our plans of buying land in Maine and packed up and moved to Sweden in a matter of 5 days, or what felt like 5 days. It might have been 8.
It might have been 8. Okay, that's a much bigger, much bigger number than 5. But I think, well, and it's interesting too that so the part about being able to pack up so quickly and move, I think that was really partly because of our nomadic lifestyle. I think to your point, right? Had we had to think about packing up an entire household or pulling our kids out of school and starting new school and setting up banking, it's a lot, and it can be quite overwhelming, certainly. But we were in such kind of the perfect limbo of already having spent the time packing up our house. Our kids aren't yet school age, and we already had so little. So again, we packed up, we hopped on a plane with one backpack and an umbrella stroller and
a pair of crutches.
So that was
that was a tough few weeks for Ingrid.
I do not recommend.
Not only did we, so I broke my leg indoor surfing, which was
Never
really
happens.
incredible. Yeah, it was an incredible experience up until the broken leg part. But I was really the only person driving the bus too. So with this broken leg, I'm driving the bus back to Boston.
Also not recommended.
yeah, we had to do it. So
yeah.
And so
it became immediately obvious that living with somebody basically immobilized for what we now know was at least 2 months, I would say, of pretty much constant pain for you.
Okay.
And then after that, there's still pain, but it's bearable.
Yeah.
But it was immediately obvious you really can't live in 300 square feet of space with 3 toddlers and 1 parent incapacitated with toddlers jumping on top of them. It's just not.
We could have, but
you could have, but I could not have. So I am also very thankful that we hopped on a plane. But yeah, with that being said,
hot tip. Always travel the airports with a wheelchair because you get immediate access to everything.
Yes.
You skip all the lines. You're treated well. You got to tip the people that are driving you around, but totally worth it. Get through security faster. They're nicer to you. Yeah.
I mean, it was really nice to be ferried around by golf cart and have basically a little chauffeur around the airport.
Yeah.
So, and it took the stress off of me as well because I was just primarily physically dealing with the 3 kids.
3 kids and the baggage.
So, yeah.
Emotional and physical. It was tough.
It's a lot. Now that the spring is here, it feels like just a whole new life. And it is. I mean, it is really, I'm so thankful to be here and to be able to have this experience with my family because I think some of my best memories growing up have been in Sweden. So now we all get to have them.
Part of that's probably because you grew up in Lake Wales, Florida. So everything is
orange
amazing
groves,
in comparison.
Cows, constant sunlight, lots of hurricanes, lots of tornadoes, lots of lightning.
Some skydiving.
So it's a completely, you really can't compare the two, definitely. But
I see miserable people doing things they hate just to fit in.
one of my favorite things about living in Sweden, at least in the more populated areas, is in general reliable bus transportation or public transportation, whether it be trains or by bus, I guess. And then there are just so many walking and footpaths available. So yeah, we do a lot more walking now, and we don't have a car, so we rely solely on public transportation and our feet. And so far that's been really good.
What's the concept of free land, like free walking space across the land in Sweden? We're like,
I got the word at the tip of my tongue, but I can't remember it. Yeah. Do you want to go to the church? Yeah. Kyrka. So yeah, we are off to pick up our kids from daycare. We're gonna just hop on the bus. We walked to the castle, and the church is right next to the castle. So yeah.
Just that way, straight ahead, right? Iceberg, straight ahead.
Man,
You probably can't
Titanic.
name that movie.
Titanic.
Oh man, it's good.
But like, how many years has it been since that came out? 30 years?
1996.
Man, I think it was like 10 when it came out, so it's crazy.
Right, you're not 40.
Not yet.
Rules are made up by someone we never knew. Baby, wipe your tears and hear me out. We don't need
On a fence post. How does the song go? And I'm through with you. Tie me to the bedpost. It's not tie me to the fence post. Because you're on a fence post. Okay. Now, if you've waited for the portion of the video where we talk about possibly selling our Schoolie, well then you're in the right place. We have come to the decision that if we cannot rent our Schoolie by way of Airbnb, then we will be selling it. And we will have a full blog post, which I'll link down in the description below, as to everything you need to know about the Schoolie. So I think the biggest thing is that we had specialists looking at all the major components at every point when we put the bus together. Electricians for the solar and for the panel itself.
And for all the electrical that was run throughout.
Yes, and for all the electrical that was run throughout, and then a plumber overlooking the entire system itself for, of course, the plumbing lines. Because we wanted to create a quality product for our family to live in, so that was very important for us. And then a number of upgrades that we've done. I think the biggest highlight for me anyway was the fantastic kitchen. We have propane range and oven, propane electric heater in the living room area, quartzite counters, solid wood cabinets, including a vertical pantry, breakfast bar seating, which is fantastic for the kids. And also the design was built to sleep a family of 5, although it can sleep up to 7. The couch is convertible and pulls out. In the description below, we will be linking a blog post which details out all the features and upgrades of our wonderful little Schoolie home, as well as how to reach us if you are interested. Please share this video with others if you think that they would be interested in purchasing a Schoolie and moving in. We had a lot of fun traveling full-time, 6 months, and we would do it again in a heartbeat if we were on that side of the world. What else?
It's a good investment opportunity too, right?
Yeah.
You know, the only reason we didn't Airbnb it was because we weren't really there to manage it, and we didn't have a place to put the bus as far as location. And
with that being said, if you're somebody who's like, oh, I have hookups, I have all of that, I would love to host an Airbnb turnkey Schoolie, reach out to us as well, because we would love to talk to you. So again, we're not fully sold on selling the bus, other than it would be nice to have that cash available to us as we move on to better and bigger things in Europe. But I think certainly the Airbnb opportunity is still on our radar. So, all right, guys, thanks so much for checking in with us, and we will keep you up to date as to our future adventures. See you soon.
Search Destination Unknown Bus Tour for a full walkthrough tour of the interior of our tiny home on wheels.
Who sings that song?
tie me to the bedpost. I swallow my pride.
Let us know in the comments who sings that song, because we have no idea. Now we can't get it out of our ears.
Google.
Google. No, we can't do Google.
Nope.
We let the audience decide.
About the sequin tree dwellings in Georgetown, Maine, visit their website at sequinmaine.com.